Good. Well, we continue to make progress. After 3 practices, I think the rules, 2 in helmets, and then yesterday we were able to put the shoulder pads on, and I think you can practice a little bit more after 2 days of acclimation and get a little better feeling for football-related type drills that you're able to do with shoulder pads on that are a little more difficult when you don't have pads on. So, but I do think that this is a great acclimation period for the players and player safety to be able to sort of step their way into full pads. Obviously, we'll be in shoulder pads again today. I have really sort of liked, the way the players have worked. Obviously some difficult circumstances with the weather situation around here, but we're trying to get the players to, everybody talks about being positive, but to be positive you got to eliminate the negative. So how about let's don't think about all the difficult things or the bad things or the tough things, so we can focus on what we need to do to improve and get better. And you've heard me say this before, but I think the sort of thing I say to the team quite a bit is, what do you want to accomplish? What are you willing to do it? How are you going to respond when things don't go well? So these things are all choices and decisions that everybody makes every day. And, are you going to do what you feel like doing, or are you going to do what you need to do to actually accomplish the things that you're committed to? And those two things don't always, match up perfectly. Because sometimes you don't feel like getting up and working out or lifting or going to a meeting and paying attention or going out on the field and finishing plays, but that's what you need to do to be successful. So, are you going to make the choices to do what you feel like doing, or are you going to make the choices to do the things that you need to do to be successful? It comes down to, there's 2 ways that you can look at camp. You can say, I'm going to try to survive this camp. All right, or I'm going to go out there and thrive every day in this camp in terms of working hard, pushing myself, trying to get in better condition, trying to get to be a player that can better go out and dominate, the competition and do my job better. So, a couple injury things. Chris Black has a twisted ankle. He's day-to-day. Don't think he'll miss more than another day or 2. Ty Smith has a twisted ankle. He missed yesterday. He'll probably be back. Cam Robinson sprained his knee. And he's fine. He's day-to-day. He may even be able to do some things today. I think that when players get injured in practice, we take every precaution to make sure that there's not a serious injury there. Marlon Humphrey pulled a muscle, and he'll be out for a few days as well. So, any questions?
We'll start with Aaron right here.
I was wondering, with Tosh's background as a defensive lineman, he played defensive line, he coached defensive line. Does he have a effective way of communicating pass rush to the outside backers?
Well, I think that's what we always look for in sort of an outside backer coach is, we feel like the most important thing about an outside backer coach for us is not his knowledge of coverage, but, those guys rush half the time in regular, which we don't really play a lot, and most of those guys become defensive ends when we play nickel or sub, dime, whatever you want to call it. And I think that's the most important thing, that it actually gives you sort of 2 coaches that when you get in those situations can contribute to helping guys become more effective rushers. And I think Tosh certainly can do that.
Okay, we'll go over here to Matt.
Nick, I know you've talked about different factors with the quarterback competition and the things that they have to do to win that job. Let's say the competition is close towards the end. How much could youth play a factor in that? If you have a competition that's close between a senior and a freshman, how much does the potential of having, I guess, a potential long-term guy there and being able to mold someone play into the decision?
Well, I think in fairness to this team, to this group, to the commitment that this team has made, that I think everyone on the team, myself, and every coach expects us to make the decision about the quarterback based on who can help us and be the most effective player for us right now. You know, so that's how the decision is going to get made. You know, it's I'm not really too concerned about what happened in the past, and I'm not real worried about what's going to happen somewhere down the road in the future, but I am really, really concerned about what we need to do to get this team ready to be the best team they can be. And I think we have to make decisions on you know, who can play the best for us right now, who wins the team right now, who can lead the team the best, make the best choices and decisions to play winning football at that position. I think that if someone shows great potential for the future, then our theory on how we manage that is to keep that guy in a position where he can develop. So if he's called on to play at some point in time in the future, he's going to be more ready to do that. But that does not give him sort of an advantage in being able to play right now.
Right back over here to Mark.
I know it's early in camp, but how have you seen Reggie Ragland grow as a leader compared to last year?
Well, Reggie Ragland is a good player. He's been a good player for us. He's been a very productive player. He's improved every year that he's been here. I think one of the things that sometimes gets overlooked is when guys don't play the same position when they come here as what they played in high school, it takes them a little bit more time to develop. Just a little bit different, and Reggie was more of an outside backer, defensive end type of guy in high school, and moving to inside backer. Each year he's gotten better and better and better and better, and now he's, to me, you know, one of the most effective players, or ranks up there with the most effective players we've ever had here. You know, he's certainly taken responsibility to be more assertive and be more of a leader, which I think is really, really important, you know, to the team's success. So we're pleased with the progress that he's making. I don't think anybody's satisfied with where anybody is right now in terms of, you know, the improvement that we can make, and that's why you have camp. So, you know, and I'm sure Reggie knows that there's things that he wants to work on to improve.
Over here, Michael.
I know in the past with Reuben Foster, there was some concern with the way he tackled kind of the head down style. How has that improved, and how important was that for him?
Well, he's done extremely well. He did much better in the spring, was able to get through the spring without any issues so far this fall camp. Not that we've done a lot of tackling. We've really only had one day where we even thudded anybody. He is a lot better in blow delivery and body position on blow delivery, which, you know, certainly should affect, you know, his ability to play with a little more safety in the future for himself, and we're hopeful that because he's done a nice job, and we're happy with the progress that he's making.
John Cena right here.
Derrick Henry's a guy you've always seemed to have kind of praised his work ethic and focus and everything, but now that he's getting more attention, there's more chance for clutter. Do you address that with him, or is he a guy that you think's just mature enough to
Well,
handle?
you know, we address that with our, you know, entire team. You know, how do you stay focused on doing the things you need to do to be successful, play your best, be your best, and not get affected by external factors, expectations. So you're worrying about what's happening right now. What can I do right now to affect my performance? So, and not get paralyzed by some of the other things that are happening. I mean, we talk to players about that all the time. I've never really thought that Derrick Henry was the type of guy that was an issue with. He seems to be able to keep his nose to the grindstone pretty consistently in terms of working to do the things that he needs to do to be a better player.
Right here in the front row, Ken.
You said the other day this is a great opportunity for everybody to kind of establish their identity. What would you like the identity of this offensive line to be? And is it maybe a little different in the way it performs than, in its style?
Well, what
than
we would
last year?
like for our offensive line to be, not just this offensive line, but every offensive line is, to be very physical on the line of scrimmage, to be able to create movement, and play with, sort of a relentless tenacity and toughness that makes it more difficult for the defensive front that they're playing against, and obviously, sort of have a mentality that we're going to wear these people down because of how physical we can play. That's what we would want for any line. But there's also other things that are important, and that's pass protection, playing together, giving the quarterback an opportunity to do what he needs to do, whoever that might be. And so this is something that has to develop, with, first of all, getting the best players in the best positions to do it, and secondly, those players playing with one another so that they can have the kind of continuity to communicate and do the things they need to do together as a unit to be effective.
Couple more. Dwayne, right here.
Coach, you talked about Cam and the injury. He played through injuries last year. What's it say about him being a young player and still being able to play through pain like he has shown so far in his career?
Right. Well, Cam is one of those guys that, when he sets his mind to something, he's got a pretty strong personality, and he's really pretty strong, effective competitor. And I've never questioned, his mental toughness. Even last year when we thought, when he got hurt in the Tennessee game, that he'd be out for, 2 to 4 weeks. We had a bye week, and he played at LSU, 2 weeks later. So, he's a guy, some guys can, deal with those types of things and it doesn't bother them, and he seems to be one of those guys that doesn't complain much and really can manage, sort of the bumps and bruises that you get playing football, and everybody gets them. Some people manage them and some people don't, but he's certainly done a good job of that.
Last one. Chris, right here. Dwayne.
Do you see this offseason as unique from your past ones in Alabama, just the national perception, what happened at the end of last year? Is this a different offseason than you've had?
Well, I think every offseason is different. When you win a national championship, you have a different offseason because you won. And when you don't win, you have a different offseason because you didn't. And we won the SEC championship, which I'm very proud of. Our players for what they were able to accomplish. And I think the difference has been for our players is, what did you learn from the experience that you had? And how we finished, how we played, what can we do better to sustain the season, hopefully improve throughout the season. It doesn't have anything to do with expectations or where you were ranked. And, we lost to a very, very, very good team that ended up winning a national championship. And they played better than we played the day we played them. I'm all responsible for that, and we're all responsible for it, but I take responsibility for it. But so what did we learn from it? But what can we do better, that if we can create that opportunity for ourselves, how could we finish better?
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.